So in the first video, we spoke about making changes and starting over in your 40s or 50s, or if you're 46 like me. And we really decided that no, it's not too late. You really need to make that change. Once you know that you need to make that change, do it. I cannot stress enough how important it is once you identify that your life needs to change for you to actually commit to doing it and do it. Starting over after 40. So the first thing we spoke about was admitting that I'm not in a good place. You cannot fix what you do not address. So many of the times we live life suppressing, avoiding, and then we wonder why we're unhappy. If you do not address the things in your life, then you will not live that happy and fulfilled life. So I had to admit the truth to myself. I really sat down with myself and God, and I admitted to both of us that I was unhappy. I was avoiding my purpose, living out my true purpose, and I was not pleased with my life. So it's up to you to really decide whether you want to continue in the same way or if you want to really make those changes necessary. So for me, there was a series of events that took place. Really, the rubbles of my life, I was looking at it, and I got sick. So there was a period of sickness. There was some quiet time. Then there was death. So some of my family members died really close together, and persons close to me died really close together. And at the funeral, I sat and I looked. You know, when there's a funeral, everybody comes together. I sat and I looked, and I saw 3 generations of my family. And what really struck me was when I listened to the eulogy for my aunt, there was no person really there taking up the battle that she had started. So she started something that I consider really great, but then there was nobody there. There was nobody in the generation before me. There was no person in my generation, and there was nobody there even in the generation, the next generation that I was looking at. And there were so many generations of my family there, but no one taking up the battle to do better. Now, don't let me, my family is not an unsuccessful family. My family, we are very successful members in my family, etc. So it's not that financial success or really achieving success in your fields, the different fields or whatever field that you choose, but it's really living that life of purpose and fulfillment that I really did not see. That marrying of that living the call on your life and that financial success really coming together, I didn't really see it. That living for God, totally. I didn't see it in the way that I believe that it should be. And so I decided there and then that I must change. You know, before the different things different events that was happening over the months, I was saying, yes, I need to change. I was making small changes. But there and then, I really said to myself that, no, there must be a change, because I do not like what I see at all. So one of the things I also did was I sat down and I thought about the promises of God over my life. Like, you know, as believers, we are excited when we get somebody speaking over our life. A prophet comes and speaks over our life. We're really excited for what is being said, but we're not really willing to walk it out. Or when we look at what the walking out entails, we're not willing to commit to that, really. Or even sometimes in the midst of walking it out, we give it up because of what that walking out entails. And I really looked at the promises of God for my life, the prophecies that was spoken over my life. I looked at the investment that God made in me. I looked at the investment my pastor made in me as well, and my relatives, some of my family members. I looked at you know, the investment that they made, and I looked at the investment that I made in my life as well, because I did make investments in my life over the years. And I looked at it, and when I looked, I saw that the return on the investment, it really wasn't there. And I said to myself that this really shouldn't be. So there was really a series of events, a lot of things that took place that told me that I need to move from here. So I started praying about it. I started talking to God about it, praying and really listening, sitting and listening to the voice of the Holy Spirit on really what to do and how to do it. Yeah, because I really wanted, I committed to me and to my life basically, and I really wanted to make those changes. So I really wanted to make changes, and it's not like I've never made changes before, positive changes towards the betterment of my life, but I really wanted to make changes to the point where I become, my pastor likes to say, the truest and best version of yourself. I wanted to become the truest and best version of myself. That was really the desire. That in me doing that, I would really live a fulfilled life. I'd be able to be an example for my girls, and really my girls in turn would be an example for the children in their generation. So that was really the thought process behind it. So first really admitting that yes, I needed to change, and that admittance, that's how it really came about. So things I didn't want in my life that were there, I really looked and I saw that I had abandoned a lot of things in my life. I had left rubble in certain places in my life, and I didn't clean it up, I didn't move it out, I didn't try to build something new or fix it or anything like that, and it was just there. So recently my pastor spoke about the people living in their lives, and they're living in a corner of their lives, and different parts of their life are, unattended or not how it should be, and they're living in one part of their life and they really want persons to cheer them on. And I think that is what I saw when I looked at my life at that time, that I was successful in one area or two areas of my life. I could say yes, I have it there, but when you really look at the entirety of your life, there were things that needed drastic change. Basically, I had to dismantle a lot of things in my life. Things that, structures that I've built that look good, but it really wasn't for me. It wasn't for my life. So you may have structures in your life that you think, this is okay. But if you really sit down and look at it, what is the purpose of your life? Why are you here? And does this structure really coincide, or is this structure really for the life that you are called to live? So I had to dismantle a lot of structures and start the rebuilding process. And of course, as I said, I did that through prayer. I told you in the last video that every time the church doors open, I was there. And really, the guy, you'll hear me say that my pastor said, or I read, or something like that. And really, God is so faithful that when I decided, or when I said yes, a lot of the things that, I was hearing, he confirmed it when I went to church, or he explained it when I went to church. So whatever service I went to, there was a word there for me, helping me along in my journey. So I was never abandoned in my journey. It's not that my pastor, and she said it recently, it's not that I came to her personally for a lot of things to ask her, well, pastor, so and so, I feel like this. But when she, when she was on the altar, or even sometimes in her casual conversations to us, she answered questions that I had within myself. And that's one thing that I'm so glad God is faithful, that he hears you. He is the God that sees you. That is one thing that I really, really experienced with him. He sees you and he hears you. So he doesn't leave, he doesn't abandon you to really try to figure it out yourself, but really guides you on that path of where to go and what to do. So that was really something that happened there along the way with me, and it continues to happen as well. So even I came, we had Bible study tonight, and I went to Bible study, not really expecting what was spoken about to be spoken about. But again, it was confirmation for me. Things that was spoken was confirmation of things that I was doing, things that I did within the past week, and questions as well that I had within myself. So you would not be left alone to fend for yourself. That's basically what I'm telling you. Here, you will not be left alone to fend for yourself, but there will be that guidance there. And as long as you're teachable, as long as you're able, my pastor likes to say that as adults, we like to say, I'm a big man, I'm a big woman, but you really do need to be teachable and coachable. And once you're teachable and coachable, you're able to advance in life. So basically, that's it. I really addressed the different areas in my life and started making those changes, committed to really make the changes. So just sitting and listening and deciding what I wanted my life to look like, and really making those changes that I said I wanted. Yeah, really admitting to myself that this is who I want to be, and started making those changes. Do not forget to like the video. Do not forget to share with a friend. If this video helped you in any way, please subscribe to the channel. And as the channel says, Giselle Jones Inside Out. This is me, Giselle, sharing my inside out with you. So see you soon. Bye.